Wow. So I was I was muted the entire time. It's kind of weird why it changes the settings automatically. So what I was saying, I'm just going to do a quick recap because it's not too important. But I'm going to focus solely on Doom 2 Annie. So I'm going to leave HPAC for what it is for the moment. Because there's no, there's no immediate necessity to finish that map because the project is still way off from release. So today we're going to work on a final area of this map. A very nice arena with a little bit of interactivity when it comes to the map, like crushers, pulley objects, so you can make good use of the environment. So I'd say, yeah, let's start the clock. I only got 2 hours today because I have a couple of appointments. That was what I was saying actually. So we did like 1 hour offline work yesterday to kind of build the idea or to establish the entrance to the final area of the map. But that's finished. It's not too big of a deal. The most important part we're gonna work on today, and it's gonna be kind of the same principle as we used in our where was it? Defense system here. I think it was this one, where we actually it's a line portal. It's gonna be a sector portal. So we're gonna use with sector portal to kind of make the player drop down. Into an inescapable arena, which will be the final battle. But there will be plenty of ammo and stuff like that. So even if you missed something, that's quite alright. Aside, I do have to implement a few more secrets. I'm not really sure how many secrets I have. I think only one. No, wait. That's not true. I only look at this portion of the map, which has one secret, but there are other secrets here. This one, for example, the BFG secret, which is quite huge. There are a few secrets. It's okay. But we can always add a few more. I think mainly in this area, I don't think there is a secret. So we're definitely going to add one in there as well. Somewhere, maybe here. That would actually be perfect. Would be a perfect fit for a secret. It's an obvious secret, but okay. You don't have to make everything too complicated all the time. Okay, so let's work on this. Let me show you real quick what I did. So there's gonna be, this is like an immense height. You're gonna drop down all the way through here. It's gonna be like a turbo elevator. And then you drop down here. So you're very deep underground. Okay, so this is actually the elevator. And then you come in this area, which is basically just like the entrance to. And here we got like, I'm gonna create a small room, which will be like a pit. I think we're gonna keep this, these tiles because they're actually perfect to do what I want. Because I'm gonna dig them out like this and replace that with the underground with flesh. So you can create like this kind of like pit, like an opening, and then you drop down and then you're at the the actual core. Okay, so we're gonna create something nice. Well, let's see, how are we going to... One thing I always kind of struggle with is like the entrance, you know? Like, how do you go about the opening, like from a hallway to a wider area? I can make it simple. You know, just do it like this. Just use the green one. So we're gonna surface colors, remove the shading. But we can't actually leave it on the ceiling. There we go. Door track. Kind of like this texture. Flows really well with this hallway. Now what I want to do is probably after episode 2 is released, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Not like in a huge amount, but I kind of want to kind of tie the first and the second episode closer together. When it comes to visual identity, I kind of want to go over it and use a couple of textures from the Doom 3 texture pack and implement them in the first episode. Maybe adding a little bit of detail because I didn't use the UDMF map format in the first episode, which left me with a lot of missed opportunities, so to speak. So we're gonna go back and kind of bring it up to speed with the second episode, and then we got a little more visual consistency, and we can continue on with a couple of new textures because the third episode is going to take place on a different planet. So we kind of want to, you know, emphasize that as well, while still using, like, for structures, kind of mostly want to stick to the Doom 3 in combination with the Quake, a couple of Quake 2 and Doom 2 textures. So it's like to create a little more consistency, because initially I kind of wanted to completely separate these episodes, like almost like a sequel, a separate sequel, but you know, because the episodes by itself, each episode is pretty small, it only has 4 maps, which really didn't justify a separate pack. So I kind of merged them together and create one big pack of 12 maps, maybe 13, kind of depends if I want to create like like an overall map, like on a ship or something, where you can travel to different planets, maybe. Would be something interesting. Well, we'll see. That was something for the very end, you know. I'm gonna just leave the the episode selection for what it is at the moment. And I think there's one advantage of like having a spaceship, like a safe environment, is that you can actually implement a lot of lore in that area because it doesn't interrupt from combat or whatever. So once you kind of like select your planet you want to travel to, and then you know you can just focus on the combat, really. Not too much story here, and then, you know, keep the story for the ship if you want to explore. You can kind of leave it up to the player instead of forced having a forced actually no idea. That is why it's interesting to create prefabs, I guess. It also has that. What I want to do, maybe we can, well, in terms of doors, if we stick to Doom 2, I guess it can work somewhat, although the brown is actually does fit in a little better. I think this combination works fairly well. Okay, so now for the biggest part. Is, well, not really the biggest part. Let's see, maybe we can do something different here. I think I got an idea of a nice entrance. Yeah, I think 520. Let's use 520. $512, 2028. Let's stick to 512. Okay, so that's actually pretty big, but it's okay. Now what I'm gonna do, instead of just connecting this like I always do, I was actually thinking about, let's see, let's use 2. So we got 128. Let me think. So it kind of, want to create like this entrance where you can get a clear visual of the core itself. Gonna want to create this nice reactor core, something like that. One of the fun parts of having something like this is that you can actually, I have one texture which is plain white, and you can actually color it the way you want. And for a reactor core where you get this like bright, very bright emitting light, I think it will work perfectly. So this is like, let's see how we're gonna tackle this. 96, I think that will work fine. What would work even better is a God. 128, of course it doesn't. You gotta be kidding me, right? 120. Let's see how we're gonna implement this. How? If we just come in here, I can actually. Okay, let's use 120. That's first. It's gonna require a little bit of. A little bit of experimentation to see what looks best, what works best. So this can actually go. Okay. And we're gonna drop this down, maybe 2, maybe 1, I'm not really sure yet. And what I want to do is actually can we lock it off like this? It leaves a little more room. I think we should use 96. Think keep it on grid here might be the most sensible thing, because it's so minimal, the difference, you know. There we go, something like that. I think this will leave enough room for a core. Doesn't have to be huge. That, and then we kind of want this to be a window. So let's use this one as let's see, something like that. Yeah. There we go, and the last one can actually, I have to use it like this, that would actually be low. What if we just do it like that? Huh? Okay. Now, basically, the only issue here is that it's not really clean. So what I'm gonna do, let's clean this up a little bit. Kind of wanted to. Now the only thing that is probably going to be an issue here is well, this, for example. Unless we can actually, can we? With this wouldn't solve the issue. However, not really sure though. $16, 16, 13, of course. When it comes to alignment, this will probably give issues. So if we want to use, suppose we want to use a trim like this. So this is easy, or should be easy, no? It should be. Okay. Well, might not be perfect, but I think we might be a possibility, actually. Well, it's not going to be perfect, but maybe we can work something out. Let's see. And the other one. It's not pretty. See, that's the issue. It's the for this to work, you would need a wait a minute. We can do it. Let's actually clean this up a little bit, because there's no need to have this. There we go. Let's see if we can actually, if we can keep it the same, like the exact same. Single steps. 16 now. Now this actually calculates, as you can see. You can actually use 8. Distinct sectors. Now this is what this would solve. What if I let's see, what if I do this like right, and then we would have it like a perfect centered spot, I guess. 28, of course. 20. No, it's not a huge deal. But then what we have to do here to avoid issues is kind of close this off and make it like blocking the player so it doesn't get stuck in these corners. Or we can really want to do something like this. We'll see. But here you can actually, and let's use this one. As you can see, hey, good morning, Festus. Welcome. How are you doing? There is a still a little bit of issues with the old back. It's been added for like, but it's getting better. So we can't really complain, I guess. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome to try. It's pretty persistent, you know. Didn't expect it to last this long, but it's kind of like, I feel it's constantly evolving. Like, then it started at the very lower back, and then it kind of went upwards. Just a second. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's this weird thing. 3 years, Jesus Christ. Like wow. So that is during warm. Oh, okay. Maybe it's like something was lingering I kind of feel I have the same issue. Because I've been having, like, after training, when I woke up, the day after, I had these, like, I had this lower back pain, but it went away as soon as I got up, you know. But now it really seems to persist. I mean, I guess there are worse things in the world, but still, it's definitely not pleasant. No, it's just 8. Okay. So you had to do like kine during the 3 years, or? Because that's a long time, Jesus Christ. And like, did you eventually get rid of it entirely, or? Okay, well, that's good. No, yeah, I feel like I have the same issue. Like I also do physiotherapy, and it doesn't seem to. In fact, it actually I feel worse the day after. So it definitely doesn't do any good for me, which is unfortunate because I was really hoping that it would, but yeah. Back to lift. Ah, yeah. They do tell you to keep doing, like, keep it in motion. That's what they all recommend. Doctor's orders, I guess. No. Could be. Not loaded. Okay. Ah. Well. Doctor always. They don't always know best. I feel like sometimes it's like an educated guess. You know? Are these connected? Ah, I see. Oh. Okay, yeah. Well, for what it's worth, I totally understand your sentiment. Is it? It's a little cloudy, so if you want to go off on a rant, sure. This is probably not the best. I got a better one. But the thing is, like, what I feel, and I don't know if it has something to do with it. But I feel like my digestive system is also kind of messed up. There was some point though, like I experienced a lot of stress because I kind of feel like not nauseous, it's something in between. Like when I wake up, it kind of feels like I ate too much, you know, but then it kind of goes away. It might be due to the stress of the last few weeks, because I think I had a lot of stress because like the problems didn't go away and I wasn't sure what was going on, and like the kine or the physiotherapy didn't work. Yeah. True. But it's very frustrating because I can't do the things that I want to do. You know. Very frustrating. But is it different height? What the hell? Yeah, I guess is there something wrong with me? Like, ah, wait a minute, of course. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's hear it. Marriage of an idle game. What is that? An idle game? Oh, wait. I think I did play. Was it a steampunk game? Which basically played itself. I remember one. I just forgot the name. It was a free. Was a free game. Cookie clickers. Ah, I see. Okay. Is there a market for that? And these can we actually clean this up? Let's do it like this for a little better. Let's see, now I have to something different, of course. I'm not really sure if that would work. Wow, that's actually... Okay. It's an interesting take. Definitely something I haven't really heard before or seen before. Then again, I'm not really, let's say, on top of the scene. Yeah. Yeah. Would be, yeah, could be a... I could definitely see something in there, yeah. It's an interesting concept because... Yeah, true. That is a fact. There's a market for that. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, let's like that. Yeah, go with that. Oh, speaking of game dev, I was let me show you real quick while we're at it. I actually had this thing I was working on. I built another creature for my Game Boy game. Let me show you real quick. If I can, because it always starts on. Look at this. Bam. That is actually my latest achievement when it comes to Game Boy, my Game Boy game. I create the monster from scratch, which I kind of impressed myself with my pixel art. But the main, like, the biggest issue was actually... Oh, thank you. Like, it's a huge boss, right? So you can't make it off... that's not an actor. So what was the issue? Like, I kind of had to... Because Wario Land does it as well. They have these huge, almost like full screen bosses. But it can never be a sprite. Because, like, you only get like 10 units per scan line. And then it starts to flicker or they start to disappear. So what you have to do, it's actually the background. But the issue I was facing was that the player moved along with it, and there was no option to pin it. So I dug in a little bit of GBVM scripting, which is almost like Chinese, you know, because there's very, very little documentation. But I found a way to pin the actor, like the player, on screen. So now you get that effect, and I can just... You can move the background or the camera, for that matter. You can move it all the way around, and the player just stays in place. So it's a little bit of scripting magic, it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but really happy with the way it worked out. Of course. Absolutely. Like, the amount of creativity, it's insane. Really great. I guess that could work. Yeah, it's true. It's like the stuff people had to do back then. And that is something that is, I feel like, is kind of lacking in the modern gaming. Like I talked about it before. It's you know, you don't have to take these issues into account anymore when making a game, you know? Because the hardware will carry it. Yeah, true. No, I feel like they don't put in the effort. This one does resemble this more. This one. It's kind of weird. Wait a minute. Okay, let's leave it like that. No. True. But it's like for me, with extremely low knowledge of programming, scripting, I feel like I'm still, you know, I could never imagine to have gotten where I am right now with that game. Well, even that is almost foreign language to me. One thing I maybe someday want to learn is actually like assembly. But it's so like, I feel like for the Game Boy, I kind of looked it up, and there are some tutorials to get you started, but still that is, I feel like I missed a couple of, I don't know, I can't even determine if they assume you have like a little bit of knowledge on assembly or not. Because the tutorials, like when they start, I kind of like somewhat grasp what they're trying to say, but at the same time I feel like even in the introduction there are, like, I think half of it I don't even understand, you know, and that's supposed to be like a beginner's tutorial, so I kind of feel almost like an idiot, you know. But for yeah, it's old hardware, and I know you have to kind of like, it has to, yeah, you know, I kind of like understand the bigger picture behind it as to like why you're doing certain things, but you know, like for example, like I still don't understand, like with assembly you kind of get, they talk about these banks, which I assume are different like storage spaces where you have to draw some data from to load it into memory. If that's even correct, I'm not even sure, but that's like how I think it is. But then they use these terms, like they scramble them all together, and then that's where you lose me. Like for like a simple thing, like I mean, the language is not really, let's say, user-friendly. Like for GZdoom, play Exapunks. Actually, let me look that up, actually. Oh, it's like an education program or something. Oh, so you kind of get, like if you play that game, you kind of learn like how it works? Because that's actually really interesting. The broad picture. That's definitely interesting. Okay, that's actually very cool to port in a game. Okay, that's something, I'm gonna write it down. Thank you so much for that tip. Because I feel, you know, like the issue with well, actually, that's actually that's actually interesting. I sometimes ask, well, it's not Chat GPT, but it's on Twitter, like Grok or something. I do ask to write like short scripts, but they never seem to work. It's kind of like they do give me insight into like the general direction. Like I understand like let's say the logical thinking behind it, but to actually implement it, like maybe you have to know like the specific commands or something, I don't know. Yeah. But sometimes it helped me to kind of like, to give you new insights. True. And they do a good job, for the most part, I think, yeah. Actually copy paste this entire thing. There we go. We can actually use something different here. I really like this texture. This is my go-to. And then for this one, actually keep it. By the way, have you seen the progress I made on this? Or would you like a quick tour? I'm not really sure if you watched previous streams, but I did actually made some good progress over the last few streams, or in the last period, I think. Okay. So, well, you've seen actually. Let's start from the beginning because. So this is like the entrance point, which you've probably already seen. So Not much change here. The tube is still working, thankfully. So this is the first part, which actually, of course, needs I think you also seen this part with the BFG secret. This is some very... Oh, I'm still making it. Okay. So this is some sector portal magic, where you can actually drop down here. And then you're in this room and you can lower the crane. That took me a while to do that. To figure out like how to use these 3D floors, but as you can see, that was pretty cool, I think, if I say so myself. So this conveyor belt, we got some torture machines here. Now the thing is, because I used monsters off, like the marines don't get spawned in either. So these are quite, it's kind of like it's loosely based on processing plant from Quake 2, where you have to shut down these torture devices. So this is one. This is these are going to be spinning poly objects, which I still have to implement. But I kind of like the colors as well, yeah. And then we've got a second room where marines are dropped into acid tanks, which is also pretty cool if you see it in action. And then you shut this down. And these actually stop as well. As you can see, if you shut down the machine, the production of fish flesh stops. And then we are here. This is actually a huge area. Now one thing I was really struggling with was this bridge, because it uses... You don't really see it, but this is also like, it's a 3D floor. So you can shoot through it, which is unusual, but normally it also stops projectiles. So I had to use some trickery to make it happen. Now, normally this shouldn't be like an issue. The thing is, this is a moving bridge, right? So as you can see, the lights are orange, which means I kind of use that color to indicate that it is switch operated. So if you press the switch, you can see the bridge lowering and the lights are changing. Bam. There we go. So that was actually a very tricky. This one is also interesting. Like this room is filled with flesh. And you can actually go up here. And then it lowers. And I had this very cool mechanic. Now you don't see him here, but now that door opens. You don't see it here, but there are dead monsters inside. They're not here now because I use a command to resurrect them. Once you pick up this key, that door closes and then the monsters get resurrected. Now I couldn't use the standard dead bodies because they're not really actors, or let's say monsters. So what I did was I actually placed the monsters here and I killed them off at the start of the map. And then I use a command to resurrect them, like the same like the arch file would do. And that actually works. And then we go here. So you get the red key, which means you can actually move, because this is... Yeah, I still have to do that, of course. And then you obviously come to the... that's a wow. Nice night for a walk. And the thing actually I did here, what I didn't do in the other maps, and which is really cool, I can't believe I didn't try that before, was actually use a skybox filled with geometry. So you come here, this is like the final part of the pipe, and as you can see, I kind of created this enormous city-like skybox. Lots of cool structures, sector portals, it's all there. So it's a huge city of steel. I even used poly objects. And these structures are actually very simple. They use like minimal detail. But I still think like, you know, it's minimal detail, but I still think they look good. That I even use 3D floors there, hidden distance. So that's something like, yeah, I kind of was surprised as well. So it's it gives that huge sense of depth. And this is actually let's see, so gonna use some old Doom trickery. Always wanted to use something like this, like a staircase rising. And then you go here, and then the door to the sewers open, and you can enter here. But the fun part is, like, you can see the structures all across the map. Like the tree, I kind of experimented with it, but it's like, it's huge, it's enormous, and kind of it behaves a little weird when you place it like in the skybox itself. So that unfortunately doesn't work. You can place it here, but you know, I kind of use this skybox in combination with sector portals. Now, the skybox, actually, I feel like it eliminates the need for extensive sector portals in the map itself. Because you can see, like, let me show you an example. Like here, you know, like this is actually, these walls are just cut off, but I feel like since, you know, you can see like structures in the distance, it's okay. It looks okay, I think. If there was no structure in the distance at all, it probably would look a little bit weird. But I feel like for now, like, I only need minimal, like here, for example, for this building, you know, because it's like the entrance. Kind of use something like this, right? But I'm pretty happy. Like that building, I kind of use these Doom 2 textures, which I feel like really gives the illusion of a power station. You know, like a giant drill there. I feel like it worked out really well. Of course, the scale is huge, but yeah, I feel, you know, it works well. So that's a huge. Now the only thing is, this is the first map I used it in. And I feel like I was thinking, like, should I go back to the other maps and do something similar? Or just use it in a few maps I could go back to episode 1 and maybe use it in, like, in one of the maps there. I don't want to overuse it, because I think if you do, it kind of loses its, you know, you lose that special feeling when you first see it. Yeah, true. True. What you can do with it, and that's actually fairly simple, which I think might help, is instead of use it for like specific buildings or geometry, just use it for like mountains and stuff. You know, like even, or like for one of the maps. You know, in episode 2, where I have these volcanoes, you remember? I could use build a giant volcano in the background. That might be worth it. Just one, you know? Hey, Eddie, what's up, buddy? As long as it fits, yeah. I have to be careful with it though, but still, I think I can do something with it. Well, okay. It's not gonna be a 300 Cyberdeum room, but there is gonna be a fight. Not at the end of this. But let me show you what I first need to do. Is create a room. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Something like this. And then okay, this is one of the downsides of using 2.5D engines is wait a minute. I think I have an idea. We can use sector portals. Like, let's see, where is the flesh here? There are lots of hellish flesh textures in Doom 3. So we kinda want to find them. I think we are close. Really like this one. Here we are. Oh, this one. That's also pretty cool. We can use this one. Kind of want to scale it back though. Surfaces, floor scale, let's use 2. Now, what we can do here, and this is actually what makes it difficult to add proper ceiling detail. So we're gonna, well, actually it doesn't have to be huge. Let me think. So now what we need to do is we have to completely triangulate this area. Kind of draw them in. And this leaves, of course, very little room. Can't even use that. Let's see. Actually, I'm making this too hard for myself. I should probably cut out these. There we go, that is actually simpler. The only thing you do get here is that it becomes a little less organic, but technically better to pull off. You can always kind of find like a middle ground here. So what I want to do, make sure they're all triangulated. So now we can, if we use these points, we can just lower it. And we got a way more natural shape. Like an actual pit. Now the difficult part is, as you can see, this gets scaled pretty badly. Now what we can do is actually the downside is that it doesn't match up anymore. Now is that a game breaker? Probably not. Now what we can do actually is to make it a little more that looks a little better. Now we can actually try. There we go, that's better. It's a little bit stretched out, but still considerably less less notable. Now, as you can see, this messes up my sector. So that means if I want to create like a very nice ceiling detail, like let's say like a reactor core or something like that in here, you really can't. So what I would probably have to do What I can do though first. Actually, let's make the player jump into a pipe. No. Let's use 8.
Theory tells us that deep inside black holes, everything we know about the universe will come to an end.
Let's see. Well, let's use this for now. As for the pipe texture, something like this looks pretty bloody overall. I can actually do it like that. And actually we don't want that. One more. There we go. I think that is. Well, it's not perfect. I think that kind of looks nice. Okay, we got our pipe. I think we can actually use the same texture here. And this one, needs to drop down. What I need is a very generic texture now. Very seamless, like something like this. Maybe a shade darker. It's kinda, yeah. Okay, and then we're gonna use a very dark pipe, so it kind of looks, it stretches out to the infinite, and now I think we can actually create a sector portal. So if we want to, let's see. How are we gonna tackle this exactly? Let's gonna require some experimentation. Just trying some stuff out. And this pipe, obviously, has to have some a little bit of wear and tear, like it's destroyed. It can be very simple, like this. And that is your entrance. See if the player fits in. Yeah, it fits in very nicely. So that is the entrance to the final arena. It's simple, but it doesn't have to be huge. I kind of want to jump in here. Who would want that? I wouldn't want that. Okay, so that's that. Let's focus on... Let's split that into... we probably want oh, we can always change it later. Split 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Split. Let's see. Okay. Minus 4920, 4928. You can't be kidding me. Okay, no worries. There we go. Okay, so we can drop this and we can actually, instead of having a window here, we're going to create a door. We're just gonna use a couple of good old Doom steps. Because I feel like it's important to try to incorporate these textures wherever we can. Now, let's see, let me think. Kind of wanted to use a I think 64. Are you for real? Oh, I see. Okay, 72. Sure, why not? Let's see, how are we going to do this? Can we actually... Oh. I think we can actually make our door like this. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to use door. We actually have now we can use these as the indicators. No, I think we're gonna put them on here. Yeah, and this one we perfect. No? 24? Oh, that's 32. Okay. Do we not have 24 in our arsenal? I guess not. We can always do it like this then. There we go. can actually keep it a little soft on these edges here. There we go. We have I kind of looked for something like this, but I think there was a brown version as well in my custom pack. Could have sworn there was. I can recolor. Here it is. Perfect. Wait a minute. Where did I use it? That's weird. That is very weird. We have a green one as well. There we go. I feel like that's... Can we actually use it here? Oh, feels nice. Looks nice. Well, why the hell not? There we go. Oh, God. Really? There we go. Play the Doom. New Doom? No. No. You? I feel like they really messed. They screwed players or like buyers. You know, have you heard of the physical edition controversy yet? Like. They have it on disc, but it's only like 85 megabytes or something, and the rest you have to download. So it's not really like... A lot of people felt screwed over because it requires always online, and you have to download the game, even though you have it on like a physical disc. But there's almost no data on the disc. It's just a glorified key. And people are really upset with that, which I can understand. You know, if you buy the physical edition, I know. But it's a very bad practice, I think. I mean, why? Why would you do that, you know? It's a waste of disc. It's a very bad practice. It's like the modern day. So I definitely not support that, so... please enlighten me. Please. You know I value your opinion. There we go. Yeah. You know, it's like it's an excuse to keep pushing the game. They don't release finished products anymore. That's the main issue. What the hell is this? You have to really be careful with these stair builders. I have absolutely no urge to purchase AAA games these days. I don't know. I've recently played through, because I borrowed it from a friend, Far Cry 6. Was really wasn't good. Like I feel like I can't really put my finger on it. Like it felt really forced. Like the story, like the dialogue, it was really got irritated at some point. Yeah. True. I feel like it has to change on like a fundamental level. I feel like the indie scene is doing considerably better these days. It's kind of like a shift where I feel like more excited for an indie release than ever before. Like, there used to be when it was the other way around. Like, indie was, you know, I couldn't, like, if it was on a discount, I would definitely buy some, because I thought most indie titles, I know there are some gems in there, I know, but back then I was kind of, I had like a different mindset, I think, when AAA was still good, but it shifted really fast. And now I feel like these AAA companies, I feel like I don't feel respected as a player, I guess. Like, a lot of bad practices going on. I can actually copy paste this entire thing here, just the other way around. Well, it's not. Oh God, what is this? Why does it do that? It's something weird though. Oh, I see. Ooh, that has to be changed. There we go. Okay, then it makes sense. Go that far. Probably shouldn't have been so lazy. I just have to be careful with my copy pasting. Just gonna take these lines along with me. Like that. And then flip it. That's better. Still feel like I should run a check. Okay. Oh. So what we're gonna do here, actually, let's have a look. Okay. I feel like I should invest more in patchwork for future. Let's see, can we actually repeating texture? It's too clean. God, I love some Doom 2 textures, but might not be the best choice. Maybe if I get used to it, I don't know. That actually is not bad for the lower part, so that means we can stick close to maybe like a Doom 2 texture, I don't know. Something like this maybe. We can actually hold on. We can put a mid texture on there. You know what the problem is? And get back to the issue, like the investors meddling too much with game design. That is an issue. Why isn't that? Oh, it has to be front, probably. It's weird. Ah, that's better. Okay, so It actually got a three-way floor here. And I think if we're lucky, can we do it the other way around? We might. Surface, let's give that 8. And then let's darken this area up. Might be too much computer stuff. Would create a good secret area, I guess. It's kind of weird that it doesn't show decals. Maybe, is there an option to toggle that, except from this one? I think I remember there being some thing where you can switch whether it shows decals or not. But I think it's mainly to switch it off. No decals. Ah, here we go. That's a flag. There's no, yeah, too bad. Oh. Is there something like, I kind of want it to be a little harsher transition. Kind of like it. There was only like one. Yeah. Something like this. I don't know. maybe. This is hard, man. Maybe. It's actually a nice trim. All right, I'm gonna leave it at this for today. We'll think about it. But it's fun to experiment sometimes. Okay, so thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you soon next week. Where we're gonna bump in, hey Bornap, goodbye. Very unfortunate, but unfortunately I don't have any more time today. But next week we'll continue for 3 hours. Only could do 2 hours today because I have a couple of appointments. But we'll tune in. I'm gonna try to do maybe a little earlier next week instead of the weekend. If I make it, we'll see. But we'll make sure I'll make up for it. Okay, so have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care.